I am here today with Mr. Krinke, who is an English educator here at Northern Cass. And he is also a self-proclaimed expert on cows. So I'm here today to ask him about this interest of his. The first question I have for you, Mr. Krinke, is what is your history and relationship with cows?
Goes all the way back to when I was little. My dad was a farmer and rancher, and so he had about 100 head of cattle most of my life growing up, all the way through high school. And so I was the lucky kid. I got to go out and feed cattle every morning and night, help pull calves when it was calving season, chase them to their different fields so that they could eat, all that good stuff, keep that up to date. So yeah, I've been working with cattle. Well, I stopped working with cattle when I went into academics. I mean, children and cows, similar mindset, but yeah, stopped once I was in college.
How many breeds of cows are there?
Oh, geez. Well, by last count, and it keeps changing because cows breed so much. You know, people think rabbits are like the king of breeding, but really it's actually cattle. The last time I checked, it was 122.
Which one is your favorite? Which breed is your favorite?
Black Angus is my favorite. Yeah, that's what we had growing up the most.
Cattle have a well-developed sense of taste and can distinguish between the four primary tastes: sweet, salty, bitter, and sour. Why did they develop this capability? What are the benefits of differentiating between the tastes for them?
My dad always told me that it developed through their love for alfalfa, which is a type of plant that grows naturally in the plains, and so it has kind of a sweet taste, and they really love alfalfa, and so they migrated to where that occurred most, because they're not a big fan of like the salty or anything like that, so you want to give them sweet things. And in fact, there's some food that you can give them. It comes like in little granules. It's called cake, even though it's like a conglomeration of many different things, but it's really sweet as well. And so we would always load up buckets of cake and feed them the cake, as well as some alfalfa that we would hay.
What did the National Institute of Health and the U.S. Department of Agriculture find after mapping the bovine genome?
They found mad cow disease, which is a major breakthrough, and you can actually contract that through eating bad beef. And so that was, you think of Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, where he helped to found the FDA through his muckraking of the meatpacking industry, and that kind of comes together then with this idea of mad cow disease being a thing we need to avoid. And I actually have a friend who has mad cow disease, and he can't donate blood.
Staying on the topic of genes, what percentage of genes do cows and humans share?
If they're wearing Levi's, they will share 100% of the same genes. Because a lot of farmers and ranchers wear Levi jeans. But usually we don't clothe our cows in jeans. So probably a pretty low number. It's expensive to do that.
When did humans domesticate cattle?
Ooh, you're sending me way back in my bovine study days. That was probably like Bovine Studies 101 where we covered that, so that would have been 18. I believe that it was 1762, particularly in Spain, that they kind of became a big thing. You think of the running of the bulls. It started there, where it was just a blood sport, but then because they needed many cows to create some bulls for that running of the bulls, we had a whole bunch of extra female cows where you're like, well, what are you going to do? We've got to use them for something, right? And so that's how cattle were formed.
So before this, they just roamed the countryside, and
They did.
Were they dangerous animals?
Kind of like wolves. They were in packs, but only dangerous to plants. So, it's like, you want to think wolves are very dangerous to us. Cows would be very dangerous to, say, like tall grass, perhaps. So if you were tall grass, you were definitely afraid for your life once a cow pack came rolling around.
How many cows are living in the world right now?
That's been a hot button issue, especially for climate. People are giving cows quite a bad rap, and frankly, they do a little bit of this because they fart so very much. They're actually releasing a lot of gas that impacts our ozone. And so right now, that number of cows is at a dangerous tipping point level. I can't give you the exact numbers because it changes so frequently. We love hamburgers in America, so cows are, they come and go pretty quickly. But it is, for the planet Earth, at quite a dangerously high number.
Where is their population mostly located?
The Midwest definitely has the strongest. Texas is very large. The cowboy, the American cowboy, is unique to us as a country, and so Texas and their wrangling of cows and going on trail rides. Texas has a huge number and a vast history with cows, but mostly in the Midwest, where there's open plains for them to wander.
I have one more question for you, and that is, how long do cows sleep?
Cows actually don't sleep. Yeah, it's a common misconception. They close their eyes a lot, but it's because they're in deep meditation, and so they enter a deep meditative state, but they don't actually ever sleep.
Do you have any more information that wasn't covered here that you think the viewers might need to know about cows?
I do. Cows are some of the strongest creatures you will ever find. There was one time where I was pulling a calf, and I tell you what, that process has got to be very painful for the cow. And they just take it like a champ, and you pull that calf, you're elbow deep, pulling that creature, the little bugger, out of there, and the cow just kind of goes, "Mah," and then cleans up its calf, and they go trundling off to find some cake and some alfalfa. So that's what I'd like the viewers to know, is that the cows are incredibly strong creatures.
Well, thank you, Mr. Krinke, for coming in and talking to me about cows.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure.